A bus with bars on the windows stopped in front of the massive gates of the Huntsville Correctional Facility on an early Texas morning. Rosa Medina clenched her fists, feeling sweat beading on her palms despite the air conditioning. At 28 years old, she never thought she would end up here. A mechanic from the small town of Livingston, she had spent her entire life repairing cars and motorcycles in her stepfather's garage until she got involved with the wrong crowd and was caught stealing from a wealthy family's home. "Everyone out, ladies," shouted the guard, and Rosa slowly got up from the plastic seat, following the other prisoners. The admission procedure took several hours: search, fingerprinting, photographing, medical examination. Rosa silently complied with all the requirements, trying not to look the staff in the eye. Her long, dark hair was cut short, and she was wearing a standard prison uniform, gray pants and a shirt. "Medina, you're going to Block C, Cell 127, said Officer Linda Hartman, a middle-aged woman with a tired face and stern eyes. "Is this your first time here?" "Yes, ma'am," Rosa replied quietly. "Then listen carefully. We have rules here. Don't get involved in other people's business, respect the personal space of other inmates, and follow the daily schedule. We don't want any trouble. Is that clear?" Rosa nodded, took the bedding and toiletries she had been given, and followed the guard through long corridors with concrete walls. The sounds of the prison surrounded her on all sides, the clanging of metal doors, distant voices, the echo of footsteps. Block C was a 3-story building with cells on both sides of a central corridor. Each cell was designed for 2 people. The guard stopped at door number 127 and unlocked it. "Your neighbor is Carla Thompson. She'll show you around," he said, and left. Rose entered a small cell measuring about 10 square meters. There were 2 iron bunks, a small table, a sink, and a toilet without a seat. A woman of about 35 was sitting on the top bunk, reading a medical journal. Carla Thompson was tall and thin, with short blonde hair and piercing blue eyes. Her face showed experience. She was clearly no stranger to these walls. When Rosa entered, Carla put down her magazine and looked at her intently. "You must be new here," said Carla, jumping off the cot. "I'm Carla. Welcome to hell." "Rosa," she said, awkwardly holding the bedding. "First time?" Carla asked, helping Rosa spread the sheets on the lower bunk. "Yes, hopefully my last." Carla smirked. "Everyone says that. But you know what? You can survive here if you know the rules, and I know them all." In the days that followed, Carla became Rose's guide to the prison world. She explained the unwritten rules, which inmates were respected, who was best avoided, how to get extra privileges. Carla told Rose that she was serving her 2nd year for stealing drugs from the hospital where she had worked as a nurse. "I was a good nurse," she said one evening as they lay on their bunks after lights out. "But when your mother is dying of cancer and your insurance doesn't cover painkillers, you start doing things you never thought you'd do." Rosa listened, not knowing what to say. Her own story seemed trivial compared to Carla's tragedy. "What did you do?" Carla asked. "Burglary. My friends and I thought the house was empty. It wasn't. I got caught and the others got away." "Bad friends," Carla remarked. "You'll be better off here." During her first week, Rosa noticed that the other inmates treated Carla with special respect. She wasn't an official leader, but her opinion carried weight. Carla knew how to get extra food, how to negotiate with the guards, how to resolve conflicts without fighting. "Why are you helping me?" Rosa asked one day as they stood in line for the cafeteria. Carla looked at her for a long time. "I like you. You have honest eyes, and honesty is rare here." Rosa felt her cheeks flush. There was something about the way Carla looked at her that made her heart beat faster. Days turned into weeks. Rosa worked in the prison laundry, Carla in the medical ward, helping Dr. Cole. In the evenings, they often sat in the recreation room, playing cards or just talking. Carla told stories from her life before prison, and Rosa gradually opened up. "You know what the worst thing about this place is?" Carla asked one evening as they watched TV in the common room. "What?" "Not the violence, not the bad food, not the lack of freedom. The worst thing is the loneliness, when you realize that no one cares whether you're alive or dead." Rosa turned to her. "I care." Carla looked at her in surprise, then smiled softly. "Yes, I know. and that means a lot. That night, lying in the darkness of her cell, Rosa reflected on her feelings. She had never felt this way about a woman before, but Carla was special. She was strong, intelligent, and despite her criminal past, caring. A month after Rosa's arrival, their relationship changed. It happened during an evening walk in the yard. They were walking around the perimeter, discussing a book Rosa was reading, when a group of inmates began to taunt the new girl from the neighboring block. "Hey baby, are you lost?" shouted one of them, a tall woman with tattoos on her arms. Rosa instinctively took a step forward, wanting to help, but Carla grabbed her arm. "Don't get involved. It's none of your business," she said quietly. "But they're hurting her," Rosa protested. "So what? Do you want to be the next target? Everyone here survives as best they can." Rosa looked at Carla with disappointment. "I thought you were different." "I am what I have to be to survive, and you should learn to do the same." But later that night, Carla approached Rosa as she was reading on her bunk. "Listen, I know what you think of me after today," she began, "but you don't understand how things work here. If you try to save everyone, you'll end up getting yourself killed." "I just can't stand to see someone get hurt," Rosa replied, without looking up from her book. Carla sat down on the edge of her bunk. "That's one of the things I like about you, your kindness. But kindness can be dangerous here." Rosa finally looked at her. "What else do you like about me?" Carla paused for a moment, then reached out and gently touched Rosa's cheek. "Everything. Your honesty, your strength, the way you look at the world. You're special, Rosa." That night, something changed between them. Carla began to show more concern, protecting Rosa from the other inmates, sharing her best food with her, spending all her free time with her. And Rosa felt herself falling in love. 6 weeks had passed since Rosa's arrival at the prison when she was called in for a mandatory medical examination. All new inmates had to undergo a full examination 1 month after admission. That was how the system worked. Rosa walked down the hallway to the medical wing with a heavy feeling in her chest, though she couldn't explain why. Dr. James Cole was a middle-aged man with kind eyes behind thin-rimmed glasses. He had been the prison doctor for 8 years and had seen it all. When Rosa entered his office, he smiled warmly. "Have a seat, Miss Medina. How are you adjusting to life here?" he asked, looking over her file. "Fine, doctor. Ms. Thompson is helping me a lot." Dr. Cole nodded. "Carla is a good woman. She works for me as an assistant, very competent, despite her circumstances." The examination was standard: blood pressure, weight, reflexes. Then the doctor took a blood sample for testing. "The results will be ready in a few days. It's standard procedure. We check for various infections, including HIV, hepatitis, and other blood-borne diseases." Rosa nodded, not thinking much of it. In her past life, she had been careful, never used injection drugs, and had few sexual partners. She saw no reason to worry. Back in her cell, she told Carla about her visit to the doctor. "Cole is a good doctor," said Carla, lying on the top bunk and reading a medical journal. "He's not one of those who looks at us like we're trash. He treats everyone like human beings." "He said you work for him." "Yes. I help with paperwork and distribute medication under supervision. It's better than working in the laundry or the kitchen." Rosa noticed the pride in Carla's voice when she talked about her job. Even though it was her medical work that had landed her in prison, Carla still felt connected to her profession. The next few days passed as usual. Rosa worked in the laundry, Carla in the infirmary. In the evenings, they spent time together and their relationship grew closer. The other inmates began to notice. "Hey Rosa, are you Carla's girl now?" Debbie, a large woman serving time for assault, teased her. Rose blushed but said nothing. Carla, who was standing nearby, walked over to Debbie and said quietly but firmly, "You got a problem with my friends?" Debbie knew Carla's reputation and quickly backed off. "No problem, Carla. Just kidding." "Then go kid someone else." Later, when they were alone, Rosa asked, "Why did you stick up for me like that?" Carla looked at her seriously. "Because you're important to me, more important than I ever thought anyone could be." That night, they kissed for the first time. It happened in their cell after lights out, in the dark. Carla climbed down from the top bunk and sat down next to Rosa. "I don't want to force you," she whispered. "But what I feel..." Rosa didn't let her finish, pulling her close. The kiss was tender, cautious, full of uncertainty and desire at the same time. "I've never done this before," Rosa began. "I know. We won't rush things." The next day, Rosa was called to see Dr. Cole again. This time, his face was serious, and Carla was present in the office, which Rosa found strange. "Please sit down," said the doctor. "I need to discuss your test results with you." Rosa's heart began to beat faster. "Is something wrong?" Dr. Cole took off his glasses and rubbed his nose. "I'm afraid so. Your HIV test came back positive." The world around Rosa stopped. The doctor's words sounded as if they were coming from underwater, distant and unreal. "This can't be," she whispered. "I was careful. I never—" "Rose," Carla said softly, coming over and putting her hand on her shoulder. "Breathe." "I understand how shocking this is for you," Dr. Cole continued. "But it's important to understand that HIV is not a death sentence today. With the right treatment, people with HIV live full lives." Rose stared into space, trying to process the information. "How is that possible? Where did I get it?" "HIV can be transmitted in various ways. Through unprotected sex, through blood, from mother to child. Perhaps you came into contact with infected blood in your work as a mechanic, or you had a partner who didn't know their status." Suddenly, Rosa remembered. Rick, her boyfriend 2 years ago, who often used drugs. She thought he only smoked marijuana, but now, "We will start antiretroviral therapy immediately," said the doctor. "Carla will help me monitor your treatment. She has a medical background and can be a good support." Rosa nodded, still in shock. Carla helped her to her cell, where Rosa collapsed onto the cot and began to cry. "It's over," she sobbed. "My life is over." Carla sat down next to her and hugged her. "No, it's not over. I'll be here for you. We'll get through this together." "You don't understand. I have HIV. I'm contagious. You can't be around me." "Listen to me," Carla said firmly, turning Rosa's face toward her. "I'm a nurse. I know more about HIV than most people. With the right precautions, the risk of transmission is minimal, and even if it weren't, I wouldn't leave you." In the days that followed, Carla truly became Rosa's rock. She explained how the medication worked, made sure Rosa took it on time, and protected her from the prying eyes of other inmates. "No one needs to know about your diagnosis," Carla said. "There's a lot of prejudice here. People are afraid of what they don't understand." Rosa was grateful for the care, but gradually began to notice that Carla was becoming increasingly possessive. She controlled Rosa's every move and decided who she could and couldn't talk to. "I just want to protect you," Carla would say when Rosa tried to argue. "You don't know these people like I do. You're too trusting." Rosa began to feel like she was in a golden cage. On the one hand, Carla genuinely cared about her and helped her cope with her diagnosis. On the other hand, she had almost no freedom of choice. A month after receiving her diagnosis, their relationship became physically intimate. Carla was a tender and caring lover, but Rose noticed that even in intimacy, Carla remained in control. "You belong to me," Carla whispered after they made love. "Only to me." At first, these words sounded romantic, but gradually Rosa began to sense something disturbing in them. Dr. Cole watched the situation unfold with growing concern. He saw how Carla controlled every aspect of Rosa's treatment, how she influenced all of her decisions. "Rose, how's the treatment going?" he asked during one of his visits. "Fine. Carla makes sure I take my medication." "And how are you feeling? Emotionally?" Rose thought for a moment. "Sometimes I feel depressed, not just because of the diagnosis, but in general." The doctor nodded. "That's normal. An HIV diagnosis is a serious challenge, but it's important to remember that you are still the same Rosa. The disease does not define your worth as a person." "Carla says that now no one but her can accept me." Dr. Cole frowned. "That's not true, Rosa. Many people with HIV lead normal social and romantic lives. Your diagnosis does not make you unworthy of love or friendship." When Rosa told Carla about this conversation, she became angry. "Cole doesn't understand our situation," she said. "He doesn't know what it's like to live here among these people. He doesn't understand what it means to be HIV positive in prison. But maybe he's right. Maybe I can get along with other people." Carla turned sharply toward her. You want to leave me? After everything I've done for you? No, of course not. I'm the only one who has accepted you for who you are. I'm the only one who knows about your diagnosis and isn't afraid to be around you. Without me, you're nobody here. Rosa felt tears welling up in her eyes. Maybe Carla was right. Maybe she really was the only one who could accept her. But deep down, something protested against this logic. Something told her that true love shouldn't feel like a prison within a prison. At the end of that week, an incident occurred that revealed the true nature of their relationship. A new inmate, Maria, a young woman about Rosa's age, was friendly and open. She approached Rosa in the dining hall and struck up a casual conversation. "Hi, I'm Maria. You're Rosa, right? I heard you work in the laundry." "Yes, nice to meet you," Rosa replied, feeling the joy of simple human interaction for the first time in a long time. They talked for a few minutes about work, about life before prison, about everything and nothing. Rose felt the tension leave her shoulders. It was so natural, just talking to someone without control, without judgment. But when she turned around, she saw Carla standing in the doorway of the dining room. The expression on her face was cold and angry. "I have to go," Rosa said quickly to Maria, and walked over to Carla. "Who was that?" Carla asked when they left the dining room. "Just a new girl, Maria. We were just talking." "About what?" "Nothing special? About work? About—" "Rosa." Carla stopped and turned to her. "You know I don't like you talking to people I don't know. But it was just a friendly conversation." "Nothing is just a conversation, especially here. This Maria could be anyone. She could be an informant. She could be dangerous." "Carla, you're exaggerating." Carla's face darkened. "I'm exaggerating. I'm the one who protects you every day. I'm the one who knows all your secrets and doesn't tell anyone. And you accuse me of exaggerating?" Rosa felt a familiar sense of guilt. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Promise me you won't talk to her without me again." Rosa hesitated. The demand seemed excessive, but Carla's gaze was so intense, so full of pain and anger, that she couldn't refuse. "I promise." That night, lying in the dark, Rosa thought about what was happening to her life. The HIV diagnosis had been a shock, but Carla's support had helped her cope with the initial shock. However, she was now beginning to realize that the price of that support was higher than she had thought. She loved Carla, or thought she did. But love shouldn't feel suffocating. Love shouldn't require complete surrender of one's will. But what could she do? Carla was right about one thing. With HIV, she was vulnerable in prison. Maybe Carla's control was a necessary protection, or maybe it was tyranny in a pretty package. 3 months had passed since her diagnosis, and Rosa was starting to feel better physically thanks to the treatment. The medication was working, her viral load was decreasing, but emotionally she was feeling worse. Carla controlled every aspect of her life under the guise of care and protection. "Time to take your medicine," Carla said, as she did every day at the appointed time, handing Rosa the pills and a glass of water. "I remember," Rosa replied, but took the medicine anyway. She had long since stopped arguing about it. "Of course you remember, but I just want to make sure. Missing even one dose can be dangerous." Rose nodded and swallowed the pills. Carla watched until she finished all the water. Their routine had become ritualized. Carla accompanied Rose to breakfast, walked her to work at the laundry, and picked her up after her shift. They always sat at the same table during lunch, and Carla kept a close eye on who Rosa was talking to. "That new girl, Maria, is trying to talk to you again," Carla remarked one day, noticing the young woman glancing in their direction. "Maybe she's just being friendly," Rosa suggested cautiously. "Or curious. People don't show friendliness for no reason, especially here." Rosa looked at Maria, who smiled sweetly at her. There was no malice in her eyes, just a normal human desire for communication. Rose longed for such simple, uncomplicated interaction. "Carla, maybe it would be nice to have more friends?" Carla turned sharply toward her. "Friends? You have me. Isn't that enough?" "Of course it's enough. You just what? Tired of me?" "No," Rosa replied quickly, seeing how hurt Carla had taken her words. "I'm not tired of you. Never. You mean everything to me." Carla's face softened, but her eyes still showed tension. Good, because we're a team. It's us against the world. After lunch, Rosa returned to work in the laundry room, where she sorted prison uniforms and bedding. The work was monotonous, but it gave her time to think. She wondered more and more often whether her relationship with Carla was normal. "Rosa," she heard a familiar voice call. Turning around, she saw Maria, who was cleaning the next room. "Hi, Maria. Listen, I was hoping we could talk sometime. You seem like an interesting person, but you're always so busy." Rosa looked around to make sure Carla wasn't nearby. "Yes, I just have a lot to do." "I understand, but if you want to talk, I'm here. Sometimes everyone needs a break, you know?" There was something understanding in Maria's words, something that suggested she saw right through the situation. Rosa felt both grateful and afraid. "Thank you," she said quietly. When the workday ended, Carla was waiting for Rosa at the exit of the laundry room as usual. "How's it going?" she asked, hugging Rosa around the waist. "Fine, same as always." "Good, let's go have dinner." They were walking down the hallway when they ran into Dr. Cole. "Rose, how are you feeling? Are you taking your medication?" "Everything's fine, doctor. Carla is making sure of that." Dr. Cole looked at Carla, then back at Rose. "Excellent. But remember, you are ultimately responsible for your own health." "Of course," Rose replied, not understanding the subtext of his words. When the doctor left, Carla frowned. "I don't like his tone." "What tone? He's just checking on you. He's implying that I'm not taking good care of you." "Carla, you take wonderful care of me. I couldn't manage without you." Carla stopped and turned to Rose. "Is that true?" "Of course it's true. Then why do I feel like you're pulling away from me?" Rose was surprised by the directness of the question. "I'm not pulling away." "You're not. Then why are you always thinking about something else? Why do you look at other people as if you want to talk to them?" "I'm not. Don't lie to me, Rose. I know you better than you know yourself." There was a truth in those words that frightened Rosa. Carla really did know her very well, perhaps too well. That night, lying in their bunks, they talked in the dark. "Carla, can I ask you something?" "Sure." "Do you ever think about life after prison?" Carla paused. "Sometimes." "Why?" "I think about it all the time. What I'll do, where I'll live, whether I'll be able to find a job with a criminal record and my diagnosis. We'll manage, together." "Together?" "Of course. You didn't think we'd break up when we got out of here, did you?" Rosa didn't know what to say. She hadn't thought that far ahead, hadn't planned a future with anyone. "I don't know. We don't even know when each of us will get out." "I have 8 months left. You have 2 years. I'll wait." "Carla." "What? You don't want to be with me on the outside?" "It's not that. It's just that we might change. The situation might change." Carla sat up abruptly on her bunk. "The situation? What situation? Your HIV? I told you that doesn't bother me." "It's not just that. It's just that outside these walls, everything is different. Nothing will change for me. My love for you won't change." The word love hung in the air. Carla had never used it so directly before. "Do you love me?" Rosa asked quietly. "Isn't it obvious? Everything I do out of love for you." Rosa felt a complex mix of emotions. Part of her was touched by Carla's confession, but another part felt the pressure that confession put on her. "I love you too," she said, and it wasn't a complete lie. She did feel something deep for Carla, but was it love or gratitude for her care, or maybe fear of being alone? The next day, an incident occurred that changed the dynamic of their relationship. Rosa was working in the laundry room when she suddenly felt dizzy. She sat down, trying to cope with the weakness when Maria, who was working nearby, noticed her condition. "Hey, are you okay?" she asked, coming closer. "Yes, I'm just a little dizzy." "Maybe you should see a doctor." "No, I'm fine, it'll pass." But Maria didn't leave. Instead, she brought Rosa a glass of water and helped her sit down on a laundry box. "Thank you," said Rosa, sincerely grateful for the concern. "You're welcome. We should help each other." They sat for a few minutes in comfortable silence until Rosa felt better. "Maria, can I ask you something?" "Of course." Have you ever felt suffocated in a relationship? Maria looked at her intently. Are you talking about Carla? Rosa was surprised by the directness of the question. How do you know? It's obvious. The way she controls you. The way you behave around her. She doesn't control me. She cares. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference. Rosa felt something inside her respond to those words. What do you mean? Caring means wanting someone to be happy and free to make their own decisions. Controlling means wanting someone to do what you think is right. Those words echoed in Rosa's head. But Carla knows this environment better than I do. She protects me. Maybe, but protection doesn't have to mean isolation. At that moment, Carla entered the laundry room. Seeing Rose and Maria sitting together and talking, her face darkened. Rose, what's going on? She asked, approaching them. I just felt dizzy. Maria helped me. Carla looked at Maria suspiciously. Thank you for your help. I'll take care of Rosa now. Of course, Maria said, but her tone was cool. She stood up and as she left whispered to Rosa, remember what we talked about. When Maria left, Carla sat down next to Rose. What were you talking about? Nothing special. She just helped me when I felt sick. What exactly did she say? Rose hesitated. She just asked if I needed to see a doctor. Carla looked at her searchingly. That's all? Yes. Rose, I asked you not to talk to her without me. I didn't talk to her. I just felt sick, and she helped me. What if she hadn't helped you? What if she had taken advantage of your weakness? Carla, she just gave me some water. Today it's water. Tomorrow it'll be something else. That's how it starts. Rosa felt irritated. What starts? What are you talking about? She's trying to come between us. Can't you see? I see a woman who was kind to me. Carla's face hardened. Kindness in prison always comes at a price. Maybe not always. Rosa. Carla took her hands. Promise me you'll be careful with her. I'm always careful. Promise. Rosa looked into Carla's eyes and saw something that alarmed her. Not just worry or jealousy, but something darker. I promise, she said. But for the first time in their relationship, the promise was difficult to make. That evening, during dinner, Rose noticed that Carla was watching Maria particularly closely. When the young woman accidentally caught Rose's eye and smiled, Carla tensed up. She's doing it on purpose, she muttered. What is she doing? Trying to get your attention. She just smiled. Exactly. She knows I'm watching, and she does it anyway. After dinner, they were walking down the hallway when Officer Hartman caught up with them. Thompson, Medina, I need to talk to you. They entered a small office where Officer Hartman sat down at a desk and looked at them sternly. I've been informed of some tension between the inmates. I want to make sure there are no problems. No problems, Carla replied quickly. I wasn't talking to you. Officer Hartman looked at Rose. Medina, is there anything I need to know? Rose hesitated. Part of her wanted to tell her about the growing discomfort she was feeling, but another part was afraid of the consequences. No, ma'am, everything's fine. Are you sure? Because if someone is making you feel uncomfortable or unsafe, everything is really fine. Officer Hartman nodded, but looked unconvinced. All right, but remember, my door is always open if the situation changes. When they left the office, Carla was clearly upset. Someone ratted us out, she said. Maybe no one ratted us out. Maybe she just noticed. Noticed what? We're not doing anything wrong. I know, it's just... It was Maria. I bet it was her. You don't know that. I do. Carla stopped and turned to Rose. And now I know she's a real threat. Carla, you're exaggerating. Exaggerating? She's trying to destroy what we have. First she tries to be your friend, then she reports you to management. What's next? Rose felt fear creeping into her heart. Not fear of Maria, but fear of what Carla was capable of. What are you going to do? I'm going to protect what's important to me. Protect us. How? Carla looked at her for a long time. I don't know yet, but I'll think of something. That night, Rosa lay awake, thinking about what had happened that day. Maria's words about the difference between caring and controlling kept running through her head. She was beginning to realize that she might have fallen into a trap, cleverly disguised as love and protection. But what could she do? Carla knew about her diagnosis. Carla controlled her treatment. Carla was the only person in this place who accepted her for who she was. Or so Carla said. "Rosa?" A quiet voice called from the darkness. "Yes? Are you asleep?" "No." "Good, because I need you to know that no matter what happens, I will always protect you, no matter what." There was something in Carla's voice that made Rose freeze. Not comfort, but a warning. "I know," she whispered. "And one more thing. I hope you understand how much you mean to me, so much that I can't live without you." These words, which should have sounded like a declaration of love, instead sounded like a threat. "I understand," said Rosa, although she understood nothing of what Carla wanted to hear. She understood that she was in danger, and that this danger did not come from the hostile prison environment, but from the person who claimed to love her more than anything else in the world. The morning of March 15th began as usual. Carla made sure Rosa took her medication, took her to breakfast, then to work in the laundry room. But there was tension in the air that both women could feel. "See you at lunch," Carla said, kissing Rosa on the cheek before she left the laundry room. "See you later," Rosa replied, avoiding her gaze. At the laundry, Rosa worked silently, sorting laundry and trying to put her thoughts in order. The last few weeks had been emotional torture. On the one hand, she was grateful to Carla for her support, especially after the diagnosis. On the other hand, she felt suffocated in a gilded cage. "Hello?" She heard a familiar voice. Maria was standing in the doorway, holding a box of cleaning supplies. Rose looked around to make sure Carla wasn't nearby. "Hi." "Listen, I know you're going through a difficult time," Maria said quietly, coming closer. "But if you ever need to talk, or just need someone to be there, I'm here." "Thanks, but I'm fine." "Rose." Maria put her hand on her shoulder. "What's going on between you and Carla isn't healthy. I've seen it before. You don't understand our situation." "I understand more than you think. I had a friend who also thought her boyfriend just cared about her, until one day that caring went too far." Rosa turned to her. Maria's eyes showed genuine concern. "What are you trying to say?" "I'm saying that true love doesn't require you to give up your own identity. True love doesn't isolate you from the world." Those words hit home, exposing what Rosa had been trying not to see for months. "But she cares about my health, about my safety, at the expense of your freedom. Rosa, you have a right to your own decisions, your own friendships, your own life." A shadow appeared in the doorway of the laundry room. Carla stood there watching them. Her face was white with rage. "Maria, you don't belong here," she said coldly, entering the room. "I just brought the detergent," Maria replied calmly, but her voice betrayed her tension. "Then do your job and leave." Maria looked at Rose, then at Carla. "Okay, see you later, Rose." When Maria left, the air in the laundry room was thick with unspoken anger. "What did she say to you?" Carla asked. "Nothing special. Just brought the laundry detergent." "Don't lie to me, Rosa." "I saw you talking." Rose sighed. "She's just worried about me." "Worried?" Carla laughed, but her laughter was cold. "She doesn't know you. She doesn't know what you've been through. She doesn't know about your diagnosis, about how I take care of you. Maybe that's why her concern seems genuine." Carla turned sharply toward her. "What are you trying to say?" "Nothing, just what? That I only care about you because of your diagnosis? That my love isn't real?" "I didn't say that. But you thought it." Carla moved closer. "Rose, don't you understand? Everything I do out of love for you, to protect you. Sometimes I feel less protected and more like I'm locked in a cage." The words escaped Rosa before she could stop them. Carla froze, as if she had been struck. "In a cage?" "Carla, I didn't mean to." "In a cage." Carla repeated the words as if tasting them. "So I'm your jailer?" "No, of course not. It's just that sometimes I feel like I can't breathe, like I can't make my own decisions." "What decisions? What are you talking about?" "Simple things. Who to talk to, where to sit, what to eat. You control everything." Carla's face paled, then reddened with anger. "I control you? I'm just looking out for you. Maybe too much. Too much?" Carla grabbed Rosa by the shoulders. After everything I've done for you? After I accepted you with your diagnosis when everyone else turned their back on you? No one turned away because no one knows. Exactly, because I protect your secret, because I care about your reputation. Rosa broke free from her grip. Or because you want to keep me isolated. Isolated? Carla laughed hysterically. You want to know what real isolation is? It's when everyone finds out about your HIV. It's when people start to fear you, avoid you, when you become an outcast. Maybe that's better than living in a gilded cage. Carla paused. There was something frightening in her eyes. A gilded cage, she repeated slowly. So that's what you think of me. Carla. Now I understand. That bitch Maria brainwashed you. She made you think I was your enemy. That's not true. These are my own thoughts. Your thoughts? Carla moved closer, and Rosa saw something in her eyes that frightened her. Or are her words in your mouth? Carla, you're scaring me. I'm scaring you? Doesn't she scare you? That manipulative woman who is trying to destroy what we've been building for months? She's not trying to destroy anything. Really? Then why are you more and more unhappy with me after every conversation you have with her? Rosa didn't know what to say because there was some truth in Carla's words. See? You can't even deny it. Carla turned away. Fine. If you want your freedom, you can have it. Let's see how long you last without my protection. What do you mean? I mean that from now on, you're on your own. Your medication, your safety, your secret. All of that is your problem now. Rosa felt panic rising. Carla, don't. I didn't want this. You did, and you got it. Carla headed for the door, then stopped. Just remember, when everything goes to hell, when everyone finds out about your diagnosis, when they start hating you, remember this conversation. The rest of the day passed in tense silence. At dinner, they sat at different tables. Carla pointedly ignored Rosa, talking to other inmates. Rosa sat alone, feeling curious glances on her. After dinner, Rosa went to the shower. It was a common room with several stalls, usually empty at this time of night. She hoped to wash away not only the dirt of the day, but also the weight of her conflict with Carla. Hot water poured over her body, and Rosa tried to find the strength to do what had to be done. She knew she needed to talk to Carla, to try to mend their relationship. Despite all their problems, she didn't want to lose someone who meant so much to her. She heard the door open but didn't pay any attention. Other inmates were also coming to shower in the evening. Rosa. She turned around and saw Carla standing in the doorway of her stall. Her face was strangely calm, which was more frightening than anger. Carla, I wanted to talk to you. Really? About what? About us. About what happened today. I didn't mean to hurt you. Carla entered the stall and closed the door behind her. You didn't mean to hurt me, but you did. I know. And I'm sorry. Maybe we could what? Forget that you called my love a prison? That's not what I meant. What did you mean? Rosa searched for words. I meant that sometimes I need a little space, a little freedom of choice. Freedom of choice. Carla nodded. I see. And what do you choose? Her. Who's her? Don't play dumb, Maria. You're choosing her over me. Carla, this isn't a choice between you and her. This isn't about choosing between people at all. No? Then what is it about? The right to be myself. Something in Carla's eyes changed. The calm disappeared, giving way to something dark and dangerous. Yourself? Who are you without me, Rose? Who were you before I took you under my wing? You were nobody. A scared newbie who didn't know how to survive in this place. And now that I've made you strong, you want to abandon me. I don't want to abandon you. You do. For that whore who doesn't even know the real you. Don't call her that. Carla smiled, but there was no warmth in her smile. You're defending her? Then I was right. Carla, please, let's talk calmly. What is there to talk about? You made your choice. I didn't make any choice. You did. And you know what? I'm going to make mine too. Rosa saw that Carla was holding something in her hand. A homemade knife. A sharpened toothbrush with a blade tied to it. Carla, what are you doing? What I should have done a long time ago. If I can't have you, no one will. Carla, no! But it was too late. Carla lunged at her with the knife. Rosa tried to dodge, but slipped on the wet floor. The first blow hit her in the stomach, the second in the chest. "You were mine," whispered Carla, striking blow after blow. "Only mine." Rosa tried to defend herself, but her strength was quickly leaving her. Blood mixed with water and flowed into the drain. "Please," she croaked. "Carla, please." But in Carla's eyes, there was no longer the person she knew. There was only rage and obsession. The last thing Rosa saw was Carla's face, contorted with anger and pain. The body was discovered 20 minutes later by inmate Debbie Wilson. Her screams attracted the guards, and soon the shower room was a crime scene. Detective Sarah Wilkins arrived at the prison an hour after the body was discovered. An experienced investigator with the county sheriff's department, she had seen many crimes, but prison murders were always particularly difficult. "What do we have?" she asked Officer Hartman. "Rosa Medina, 28, inmate in Block C, found dead in the shower around 9 o'clock, multiple stab wounds." Detective Wilkins examined the crime scene. There was blood everywhere, but something about the position of the body suggested that this was a crime of passion rather than a calculated murder. "Any witnesses?" "The body was found by Debbie Wilson, but she says she didn't see anyone." "Weapon?" "A homemade knife, found next to the body." The detective nodded. "I need a list of everyone who could have been in that block last night, and I want to talk to the victim's cellmate." "That's Carla Thompson, but there's a problem." "What kind of problem?" "We can't find her." Detective Wilkins frowned. "What do you mean you can't find her? This is a prison." "After dinner, she went to the infirmary where she works. Dr. Cole says she left around 8:30, saying she wasn't feeling well. No one has seen her since." "Did you check her cell?" "Yes, she's not there." Detective Wilkins felt the adrenaline rise in her blood. A missing cellmate was rarely a good sign. "Put out an APB, search the entire prison, and bring Dr. Cole and anyone who knew the victim to me." Half an hour later, Carla was found in an abandoned part of the prison, in an old storage room. She was sitting in a corner, rocking back and forth, covered in blood. "Carla Thompson?" Detective Wilkins asked. Carla looked up. There was no madness in her eyes, as the detective had expected, only endless sadness. "She wanted to leave me," Carla said quietly. "After everything I did for her." "Are you talking about Rosa Medina?" Carla nodded. "I loved her, more than she could ever understand." "And that's why you killed her?" "I didn't want to, but she wouldn't listen. She thought she could be happy without me." Detective Wilkins signaled to the guards to handcuff Carla. "Carla Thompson, you are under arrest on suspicion of the murder of Rosa Medina." The interrogation room at the sheriff's department was small and stuffy. Carla Thompson sat at a metal table, her hands cuffed. She looked surprisingly calm for someone who had committed murder a few hours earlier. Detective Wilkins turned on the tape recorder and sat down opposite her. "Carla, tell me about your relationship with Rosa Medina." "We were together," Carla replied simply. "She needed protection, and I protected her." "Protected her from what?" "From everything. From the other inmates, from the system, from herself." The detective studied Carla's face. "Did Rosa ask you for protection?" Carla thought for a moment. "Not in words, but I saw how lost she was in the beginning. She was too soft for that place." "And you took her under your wing?" "Yes." "When did the relationship become romantic?" "After a few weeks. It happened naturally." The detective nodded. "Tell me about the day of the murder. What happened?" Carla closed her eyes. "We had a fight in the morning. Rosa said she felt like she was in a cage next to me." "And how did you react to that?" "I got angry. After everything I'd done for her, she found out about her HIV status shortly after we met. I helped her cope with it." The detective wrote this down in her notebook. The victim's medical records made no mention of her HIV status. "Rose was HIV positive?" "Yes, Dr. Cole can confirm that." "And you were the only one who knew?" "Yes, I protected her secret." "Or did you use it to control Rose?" Carla's eyes widened. "I didn't control her. I cared for her." "Cared for her? Or isolated her from other people, exploiting her vulnerability?" "You don't understand. In prison, HIV-positive inmates are shunned and humiliated. I saved her from that." "Did you ask Rose if she wanted to be saved?" Carla fell silent. Carla, what happened in the shower? I went there to talk to her. I wanted to make things right. With a knife? I took it for protection, in case someone tried to interrupt our conversation. And what did Rosa say? Carla sighed. She said she wanted space, that I was too controlling. And then, her voice faltered. Then she defended that girl, Maria. Maria Sanchez? Yes. Rosa defended her when I told her the truth about how she was trying to break us up. And you decided to kill Rosa because of that? I didn't decide to kill her. For the first time during the entire interrogation, Carla raised her voice. I just lost control when she said she was choosing her over me. Rosa said she was choosing Maria? Not in words, but I saw it in her eyes. Detective Wilkins realized she was dealing with a classic case of obsession and control disguised as love. The next day, the detective questioned other witnesses at the prison. Dr. Cole sat in his office looking tired and shaken. Rose was a good patient, he said. She was committed to her treatment and never missed a dose of her medication. Did Carla help her with her treatment? Yes, but... The doctor paused. Lately, I've been concerned about the dynamics of their relationship. In what way? Carla was very possessive. She controlled every aspect of Rosa's treatment, answering questions for her, even when I spoke directly to Rosa. Did you talk to Rosa about this? I tried, but she always said everything was fine, although I could see something else in her eyes. What exactly? Fear, or exhaustion. It's hard to say. The detective wrote it down. Doctor, in your opinion, was Rosa afraid of Carla? Perhaps, but she was also dependent on her. Carla was the only person who knew about her diagnosis and supported her. Maria Sanchez was a young woman with intelligent eyes and cautious manners. I tried to help Rosa, she told the detective. I could see she was unhappy. What exactly did you see? Carla controlled her every move, who she talked to, where she sat, what she ate. Rosa looked like a frightened animal. Did you talk to Rosa about it? I tried, but she defended Carla. She said she cared about her. And what did you say to her? That caring and controlling are two different things. That true love doesn't require giving up your own identity. The detective nodded. Did Carla know about your conversations with Rosa? She did, and she hated me for it. The last few days, she looked at me like she wanted to kill me. Did you feel threatened? Not for myself, but I was afraid for Rosa. There was something unhealthy, something dangerous about her relationship with Carla. Officer Hartman was more direct in her assessment. I've seen a lot of prison romances, she said. Most of them are toxic to some degree, but this was different. In what way? Usually in these kinds of relationships, there's a dominant and a submissive partner, but there's still some mutuality. Here, Carla completely consumed Rose. Did you try to intervene? I spoke with them after I received the complaint, but Rose denied there were any problems. The complaint was from whom? Anonymous. Someone was concerned about Rosa's well-being. The detective suspected that the complaint had come from Maria, but it didn't matter anymore. A week later, the trial began. Carla hired a court-appointed lawyer who tried to build a defense based on temporary insanity and emotional distress. My client was in a state of extreme emotional distress, Jacobs argued. She genuinely loved Rosa Medina and was afraid of losing her. The prosecutor, on the other hand, presented the case as a classic case of domestic violence transferred to a prison environment. Carla Thompson systematically isolated the victim from other people, controlled every aspect of her life, and ultimately killed her when she realized she was losing control, said Prosecutor Davis. Dr. Cole testified about Rosa's medical condition and how Carla used her diagnosis to increase her control. Maria spoke about her attempts to help Rosa and Carla's reaction to those attempts. The most shocking moment of the trial came when Carla took the stand. I loved her more than myself, she said, sitting in the witness box. I would have done anything for her. Including murder? Asked the prosecutor. I didn't plan to kill her. But when she said I was her prison when she chose that girl over me, Carla fell silent. Something inside me broke. Do you regret what you did? Carla was silent for a long time. I regret that she's dead, but I don't regret loving her, even if that love turned out to be destructive. The jury deliberated for only 3 hours. The verdict: guilty of second-degree murder. Judge Mark Henderson sentenced Carla to 25 years in prison without the possibility of parole. "Carla Thompson," he said, "you abused the trust of a vulnerable person, turned love into a tool of control, and ultimately destroyed what you claimed to protect. Your actions took the life of a young woman who was trying to find her way in difficult circumstances." Dr. Cole amended the prison's medical protocols to require more thorough monitoring of the psychological state of patients in vulnerable situations. The prison administration revised its policies on inmate relations, increasing surveillance and creating programs to prevent domestic violence in the prison environment. But these changes came too late for Rosa. A year after the trial, Detective Wilkins received a letter from Carla in the maximum security prison where she was serving her sentence. "Detective Wilkins," Carla wrote, "I know you think of me as a monster. Maybe you're right. But I want you to know that I really loved Rosa. Maybe it was a sick love, a wrong love, but it was love. Every day I think about what could have been different. If I had been stronger, wiser, less selfish. If I had let her breathe. But now it's too late. Rose is dead, and I'm spending the rest of my life remembering the woman I destroyed trying to save. Maybe it's fair." Detective Wilkins folded the letter and put it in the closed case file. The story of Rosa and Carla was yet another reminder of how thin the line is between love and obsession, between caring and controlling. New protocols, new programs, and new precautions were introduced into the prison system. But ultimately, the detective thought, change must come from within the human heart. Rosa Medina was buried in a small cemetery in Livingston. Only a few people attended her funeral. A few family members, Dr. Cole and Maria, who had been released by then. The headstone bore a simple inscription: Rosa Medina. Deserved love, not a cell. The story was covered in the local media as an example of how HIV stigma and isolation can be used as tools of abuse. Several human rights organizations used the case to push for reforms in the prison system. But for those who knew Rosa, she was not a symbol or a lesson, but simply a young woman who was trying to survive in difficult circumstances and paid for it with her life. Carla Thompson continued to serve her sentence, participated in rehabilitation programs, and wrote letters that she never sent. In them, she told Rosa about her days, asked for forgiveness, and spoke of the love that proved fatal.